My name is Z. I'm a professional race car driver. I make negative $20 a year. I'm looking for a house that can tow my race car trailers as well as has a walk-in closet. Hot tub optional. My budget is 15 cents. Really excited for what we're going to see today. So option one is a 2000 Ford F650 Overland Adventure Toter Home, RV, bug out rig, zombie apocalypse, whatever you want to call it, with Camp Light Camper, 33,000 miles. 2000 Ford F650, two-wheel drive, 6-speed manual, cat diesel, 33,000 original miles, 2018 Camp Light trailer, fully loaded, self-contained. This thing has solar, this thing has hot water, this thing has a generator, this thing has a battery bank. You name it, it's pretty much got it. The guy who owns it currently, he got it as a trade for a Corvette. So a little bit of a weird thing. He didn't build it himself, so I could kind of be a little critical of a lot of the really weird choices. So it's a nice camper shell mounted to a 2000 Ford F650. The advantage of the F650 is that it has the cat engine, which is going to go forever. It's like an industrial diesel engine. It has lower mileage, something like 30,000 miles, so pretty low, but how much maintenance is done when a vehicle isn't run that frequently? It did start right up. The transmission felt super smooth. It's a manual. An issue I'm going to have with this is, I mean, a truck manual doesn't drive like a car manual. Already I'm limited to who can possibly drive this tow rig, but this thing is 30 feet long. It's over 13 feet tall. The patio is kind of hilarious. I would absolutely remove a wooden patio from my tow vehicle, but in terms of like plug and play, turnkey, I can live in it, this definitely has that. The things it doesn't have is like fits in a parking spot. Weight is not an advantage. It is titled in California as an RV, which means it doesn't need smog. It has lower registration fees. That's all cool, but it's also like it's just a lot. It's a big vehicle, and realistically, I don't think it's a practical option as a single vehicle. The thing I'm really looking for is kind of the Goldilocks of everything, right? I want it to be maneuverable in town. I want to be able to live in it. I want it to be able to tow a ridiculous amount. And I want it to fit in a parking spot or be stealthy or have some character. This has character, but the previous owner basically wrapped it with 2-foot wide camo vinyl in all possible directions. There's probably more than 60 different pieces of vinyl on this rig. So that's a little less awesome. I'm gonna be honest. Like just the idea of making it not look like that is a lot. And again, the seller told me he got a quote to remove that vinyl of $2,500. That's just to remove it, not to add a new wrap. Adding the new wrap was actually cheaper than removing the old one. So that's a lot to keep in mind. One thing that's probably super obvious about me to anyone who spent any time with me is I have a little bit of military fetish. I just really like the efficiency of military, especially military vehicles, military storage. I like uniformity and order. I'm not naturally tending towards it, and I think that's part of the reason why I really enjoy it. But so all that to say, I'm on my way to visit some military trucks as a potential new vehicle, and I am probably going to lose my shit when I see them because I just think they are the coolest thing. Light military transport vehicle, M1078A1. So that is a 4x4 military truck that comes in a variety of configurations. I did consider the 6x6, but the fuel economy is awful, although the towing capacity is higher.
They're a lot lighter than the other one. Back, so.
At least until you get in one.
So it just puts itself back.
The locks. Yeah.
The helicopter hook points.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So they run a run flat in there so they can, you know,
Yep. Run flat. This guy was super cool. He basically took over his friend's giant military vehicle scrap operation, and he has like come and swapped everything's and, you know, 700 horsepower Bronco. Just a whole bunch of super cool vehicles. He's got a bunch of these trucks. He's got a few of the workshop boxes there. I have to say, I went to this showing expecting that I'd be like, well, that was cool, but like, you know, realize immediately that it was totally impractical. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, this is a loud vehicle that might kind of suck driving in the freeway all the time, or like trying to park in LA. That's true. That is not incorrect. However, this vehicle has 12 volt and 24 volt built in. It will fill its own tires. It can drive underwater. It has a turret. It has a turret. It has a turret. I can't. And it's only got 4,000 miles on the engine. These are like 500,000 mile engines. It's basically brand new. It's in really good shape. The guy is super nice and awesome. And I wanted to say I didn't like the color or I didn't like something about it, but it has a winch. It has a winch mounted on the vehicle that works forward and backwards. It has a built-in ladder. It has like hydraulics that automatically lift the cab off. Like, it is really cool. It's super cool. It's so cool. That's all I can say. It is so cool. And I really want it. Well, in the interest of fairness, I should probably talk about some cons. It's 12 feet tall. That's pretty tall. It does not fit in a regular parking spot. It's loud. Top speed is not that high. Like, I think maybe you could cruise at maybe 60 miles an hour. So it would take a while to get to places. It is not, I'm just going to jump in this and I'm going to speed through traffic and get it done. It is not that. It's not going anywhere in a hurry, which is a little counter to my way of being, I'm going to be honest. It's giant. It takes diesel. Not very subtle. Doesn't blend in. Now I have a 3.5 hour drive to Kennewick, Washington, where I'm looking at a 4x4 ambulance. It is built on an F450 chassis. It is the 6.0. The guy selling the military truck gave me kind of a heads up that the 6.0 is a great engine as long as all the deltas are perfect, and as soon as you go outside of them, it blows up, which is sort of something that the internet has led me to believe, but I am not a Ford person, so definitely going to need some input on that from some people. This is going to be a hard decision. Okay, so the ambulance, super compact package. Like, I like how stealthy it could be, how like it fits in a really small space, doesn't have a tow hitch already. Pros about the ambulance: form factor, small, towing capacity, good, storage, incredible, power features, amazing. Cons to the ambulance, just in terms of if it were an ambulance that was perfect. It's an ambulance. It needs wrapping or painting or something. It kind of has weird juju. For now, I mean, just comparing three completely different options, the ambulance is the most similar to the Sprinter, with the benefit that it can tow a lot more than the Sprinter could because it's based on an F450. It is the 6-liter F450 diesel engine, which is known to have certain problems. I guess a lot of the Ford engines, as I dig into it, this is my first experience even researching Fords, and they all have something to address. So got to think about that as well mechanically. But overall, the package, like, there's something weird about being in an ambulance. I got to be honest, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. But they're so efficiently built, and I know that, like, brand new, just the box alone is over $100,000. So it's hard not to think about that when you're looking at a vehicle. But of course, having the box on there means that it can only tow a certain amount. It also means that doing major services is really difficult. So that is something that I have to take into consideration as well. All right, well, to kind of summarize and wrap things up, I have a couple of options. I want to be able to tow enough that I only need one vehicle. I want to be able to fit in a parking spot. I want to be able to live in it. So, you know, pickup truck with a camper possible, but a lot of weight for the pickup truck. Ambulance, in theory, possible, but they all seem to be Fords, and from what I'm learning, it doesn't seem like a good option, I'm sorry to say. Van doesn't tow enough. I'm even looking at, like, okay, well, let's go more industrial. Let's go, hey, there's some pretty cool ex-fire truck type things. Some are 4x4 and some are not. Then the issue that I run into, I have a CDL. This is fine for me. But if ever I need anyone else to drive my vehicle for any reason, suddenly there's a huge barrier. Air brakes is a whole deal, right? Like, it just is. That's not as big of a deal compared to some other things. You just need a special endorsement, but it is a deal. The fire trucks that I'm looking at are like full on, they're Freightliners, right? It's a truck. And even if they're like fairly compact, it'd be like driving a 5-ton, let's say. I gotta just double check the length. Nobody else can drive it. And then also fabbing up a trailer hitch onto the military truck or the fire truck or whatever else I get. It's not like I can just order one on etrailers.com. I pretty much have to make one, I think. I think you can get, for a service box, there are a few hitches that exist. That is the thing that I know. But beyond that, I'm really stuck. I really don't know. Someone should make a Sprinter that can haul like a truck. Someone should take a Sprinter van shell and put it on a Chevrolet 5500 or whatever is out there that, you know, is actually reliable, which apparently is not much as it's turning out. Well, in a shocking turn of events, I forgot to shoot an outro. So yeah, what do? Buy some giant, obnoxious, full-time camper that I can't drive in the city? Please don't suggest that I put a camper on the back of a pickup truck, or that I get an RV that I tow and leave places. I don't ever go to the same place twice or in the same order, nor do I really plan in advance, so that doesn't really suit my lifestyle. What do you think? Do you think it's worth kind of biting the Ford bullet and getting the 4x4 ambulance because it can tow the most and it fits in the most places? Do you think that I should get an LMTV and be a crazy overlander suddenly? Do you think that there's a third option, fourth, fifth option that I haven't considered? Because I'm really racking my brain here, and this is the new home for me, so I could really use your input. Do the things you're supposed to do, I guess. Like, comment, subscribe, but genuinely, I need help and I need feedback, so please let me know what you think or what you would do in my situation. Don't say rent an apartment, because it's not gonna happen.